So today I thought I'd do a video on having a bit of an overzealous attitude and bias towards group mentality every time you're doing a project. I'll kind of describe a issue that I've noticed for myself that's led to that, and also a way you can kind of keep the group mentality but use it in another form rather than tying progress to each other. So for myself, I'm a remote developer and have been for the last 18 months. And I noticed that me always reaching to work with other people largely was stemming from like a lack of social interaction since being remote. I haven't been getting that 9 to 5 experience anymore in the office, where you're kind of done work and you go home and you're just ready to spend your time at home or go to a movie and spend time with your family. I wasn't getting that, so any time where I would be using my post work time to be like, oh, what can I be doing to better myself in the next 5 years? All those little ideas I would tie into or couple with someone else because I wanted to work with someone else or interact with someone else. And it was becoming a noticeable problem for me, so I tried to get into code meetups, things getting me out of the place like rec sports and stuff like that. And I found that really drove that need down. And so far, it's worked really well for me. So I think if you're a remote developer and you can kind of relate to that, maybe be mindful that you're creating those new social environments for yourself and not just being a homebody and hermit at home, rather than that required time you were getting out of the house when you were in the office. And another point I wanted to talk about when you're still, it's not really about the remote work or not, but you always find yourself going to that group mentality because you always want to chat about the ideas or idea with your friends. You can keep that going, but what you could do instead of tying progress to each other on like smaller ideas is you can play roles of accountability, because a lot of the times you have this smaller project and there's actually no need to have anyone else help you until an initial push has been done. Like you've laid some foundation, people can start to see your idea take form and like, okay, I feel, I've got some ideas to contribute to this now. And instead you end up having some sort of scheduling conflict or whatever. Someone says they can't work and they're like, okay, I'll use that as a form of procrastination and I'll say I can't work either because we said we'd do it together. So instead you could play these accountable roles for each other and try to be proactive about it. And when you're playing this role, try obviously to not wait for them to ask you to do these things, because as you forget and they don't follow up, then you're not really helping each other. But try to follow up with each other all the time. So, if you had a conversation a couple days ago about a certain feature or something like that, follow up with that person and hopefully vice versa. And I find for myself, when someone is kind of constantly keeping me in check in that sense, asking how progress went, or oh, you told me you couldn't work on it yesterday. What was that about? You can kind of share, do a little show and tell if you do have anything to update, and it keeps the social chat going. Maybe part of some of the stuff that you're craving, and the whole reason you even went that way in the first place, is kind of keeping each other in the loop and just having someone to talk to during the development process. Treat it more like updates like that, almost like a morning scrum if you've ever had anything like that. It can be really rewarding to just share progress and not just keep everything to yourself. So yeah, if that describes you, or if you can relate to that, or have any other ideas or sources for those problems, feel free to share them in the comments, and see you next time.